Yahoo! Welcome, my beautiful brothers and sisters, to the Aquarian Adepts, my platform to become your spiritual server. Let's shift just a tad bit. And welcome to your weekly astrology horoscope for today, Monday, July 16th through Sunday, July the 22nd of 2018. Thank you so much for joining me on this video. And we have a very powerful week ahead of us. And I know it's been a couple weeks since I've made one of these. I don't really have an excuse to why I didn't make them. But we are back this week with the weekly, and I hope you all enjoyed it. And I can't wait to just dive into the astrology to show you what's going on. And it's kind of an interesting week. Hold on, give me one moment. I need to plug in my computer so it doesn't suddenly die on me. And I will even go back and show you the transits. I felt like this is kind of like a week of two stories. It's like a week of two halves. The first half of the week, I would say Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday is kind of low-key. It's not really super crazy energy. There's not really a lot that's happening besides the moon shifting into Libra. Right now the moon is in Virgo, but there's not a lot that's going to be happening. But from Thursday on, the week, just the intensity just revs up several notches, and you're really going to feel it. You're really going to feel that in the middle of this week, literally going from Wednesday to Thursday, and especially after Thursday, you're going to kind of feel like the pressure's on, and things are just going, the energy's just going to be revved up. So, it's going to be definitely an interesting week. But, you know, I was looking over the transits, and, you know, normally I kind of term each, you know, day a particular thing, right? But this time I kind of wanted to just see where Spirit wanted to guide me. And that's kind of interesting. Instead of trying to control the outcome and control the theme, instead I drew a card for each of the day. I drew a card from my Sacred Traveler's Oracle card for each day and what it represented and what it means. So I'm going to just go quickly through, I'm going to go through the card and what it means for each day and kind of talk a little bit about the transits. And then I'm going to come over here on the computer and actually show you through Planet Watcher what's going to happen. And if I have enough time at the end of the video, I will draw cards for each of the 12 signs. So at the time I'm making this, it's about 6:17 right now. And let's see, the moon is in Virgo. It's at 17 degrees, so it's pretty much opposed Neptune. It's come off the exact opposition. But you know, the moon in Virgo, you know, it likes to know all the details. It wants to, like, we want to feel like we have everything under control, that we have all the facts, that we feel like our ducks are all aligned in a row. But there can be a little bit of frustration here, just considering all of the upheaval of emotions that we've had. We've had water trine after water trine after water trine over the past 2 months. So it's like trying to emotionally feel like we understand what's happening and trying to get a sense of order in our life and the sense of groundedness. It might be hard because there's been such an emotional upheaval, and the sun is still in Cancer. As of right now, it's at about 24 degrees of Cancer, but this is going to be the last full week of the sun in Cancer. So it's going to bring about really such a really pinnacle climax to this emotional depth that we've been feeling. Not that the water energy is going to go away, because, you know, we're still going to have Neptune in Pisces. We're still going to have Jupiter, which has just gone direct in Scorpio. So it's not going to be the end of those energies, but there's definitely going to be, you know, there's not going to be much energy here for a while until, of course, the moon comes back to this spot. And then, of course, later on in the year, when the North Node comes into Cancer. So this is kind of like this is going to be a week of like this emotional push and this emotional purge. And I would almost like to think of it as us kind of perfecting our water bending in many ways. And I still need to make videos about this, about how to bend the elements and what each of them mean. But if you happen to have watched several weeks ago, I made a video for each of the signs, and I told them what they were as far as what the avatar is, and like within that metaphor and within that scope. And I said that Cancer is the energy of the natural waterbender, because it's about directing and acting upon emotion and water. So this is really the last week of us perfecting our water bending, or perfecting our emotional bending, where it's like we embrace all the emotions that we have, but at the same time, we learn not to just throw them out at people willy-nilly. We learn not to just throw them out at people and just drench them in our emotions. It's about fostering some emotional intelligence, right? So today, not much is really happening. We have the moon, which is conjunct to Venus at the first part of the day. It's sextile over to Jupiter, and of course, like I said, it opposed Neptune retrograde, and by the end of the day, it will trine Pluto retrograde. So it's really going to be the moon that's making aspects today. And out of these transits, I believe that the most powerful one was, of course, the opposition to Neptune, which I talked about in my daily, where it's like you kind of want to emotionally feel like you're understanding things, that you kind of tidying up your life, that your day-to-day reality, you're trying to emotionally feel out the kinks and iron things out. But with that opposition to Neptune, that's like asking you, are you connected to spirit? Is this in line with your higher spiritual nature? Are you deluding yourself? Are you putting yourself into a prison? Are you not being imaginative enough? Or are you really deep into La La Land and you can't really ground? It's kind of interesting because I have watching clouds, which is lie back, rest, and relax, which is very, very funny because that's really the energy that I felt today. Today was the day where I simultaneously felt the need to be productive, but at the same time just relax and rest. And that's what I've done intermittently throughout working today and writing and making these videos. I have meditated, I've gone for walks, I grounded outside, I meditated where I almost fell asleep for like maybe 30 minutes. And I've been doing this intermittently throughout the day, and I think that's actually positive to do along this path. I'm going to just turn this down just a tad, but I think it's positive to do that just because, there's nothing wrong with, working hard and getting things done, but, and I can't remember where exactly I've read this or I've heard this, but I've heard that you're actually more productive when you kind of break up your workload in chunks. So you're not just working for like 6 hours straight, but you break it up in like 30-minute intervals with like little breaks in between. So that's kind of my intention. It's like I was going to make this video, that I'm going to play a game of FIFA, get something to eat, and then probably make another video later on. So like that's kind of what today is. Today's kind of has that vibration of just sitting back and watching clouds. And I think we're doing this because we realize that big change and transformation is going to occur by the end of this week. On Tuesday, we have the moon, which is still in Virgo. It's going to make a sextile over to the sun at 24 degrees. This is very positive. This is, I like to think of sextiles as when the energies are holding hands. And so the moon, which is in Virgo, the sun in Cancer, they're going to be holding hands. So there's going to be like this feeling, this general feeling that we're starting to emotionally feel better about our day-to-day reality. Even if things aren't exactly where we want them, we can still kind of feel like, we're moving overall in a positive direction. The interesting thing, though, is that the moon will ingress into Libra on Tuesday, and it will oppose Chiron retrograde at 2 degrees. So we're going to go from, thinking about the day-to-day reality, our service to others, even our job, our work, to focusing on relationships, the relationships that we have with ourselves and with other people, and wanting to harmonize these. But when it opposes Chiron, this is going to be like sort of like a preview to what's going to come later on in the week, because this opposition to Chiron, even though it's retrograde, we're all going to be kind of looking at our own wounds, and there may be a time on Tuesday where you may feel there may be misunderstandings between you and other people because they're looking at their wounds, you're looking at your wounds, and they may say something or react in a certain way that reflects something that might have happened to them in the past. And don't take it personally, because the moon here is looking for peace, it's looking for harmony, integration, and balance. So, and Chiron is retrograde. It's actually retrograde is like looking back at Pisces. So it's actually like, it's not really thinking about taking any further action. It's thinking about how can it revolutionize its view on the actions that have already passed, and how it can learn to, embrace the spiritual journey up until this point and embrace their higher spiritual nature, because Chiron will retrograde back into Pisces. And the card that I have for today was Miracles. So Miracles is expect the wondrous to emerge. So I think that's what Tuesday is really going to be about. It's going to be a day about miracles. It's going to be like tiny miracles kind of woven throughout the day, where it's like you're definitely wanting to have more harmony with yourself, with other people, and bring about that sense of balance. You're going to want to feel emotionally more balanced with other people. There may be a little strain, like I said, with that opposition to Chiron, which is retrograde. So yeah, you may be reminded of some wound or some trauma from your past, and you're going to have to learn how to work with this wound, how to harmonize it, how to heal, how to move on. Not that you disregard it, not that you cast it aside, but actually learn to embrace it. And like I like to think of Chiron as, and I've said this multiple times and I will continue to say it, that whatever wound that you're focusing on with Chiron, once you learn to heal this and embrace the spot, it becomes a superpower. It becomes an area where you actually have great power, and it actually gives you great wisdom, right? Because what is Chiron? Chiron was an immortal warrior, a great warrior, and then he was shot by one of his own men, and then he became immortal, and he became hurt and confused, but he also used that hurt and that confusion to become a great oracle, to become a great wise leader. So that's really what Tuesday is about. It's about a day of miracles. On Wednesday, the moon still in Libra is going to square Saturn, which is always not necessarily the easiest, because the moon naturally represents Cancer energy, and Saturn is actually in its home space. So it's like we're going to want to try and establish harmony within our relationships, but Saturn retrograde is asking us, does it have long-standing vision? Can we see ourselves belonging with this person, with this situation, with this job? But the good thing is that the moon is going to sextile the north node and trine the north. It's going to sextile the north node and trine the south node. So this is like us kind of holding hands with our destiny, and maybe it's almost like our destiny's kind of guiding us in a particular direction. And with that north node, with that trine to the south node, even though it's the south node in Aquarius, and you kind of want to avoid this spot, it's really asking us to revolutionize the way that we view society and realize that, hey, we are all in this together. We all have had mistakes. We all have fallen down. We all have had times of great jubilation. We all have had times of great sorrow. But we are all in this together. How can we balance? How can we harmonize? Can we find peace amongst us? It's also going to make a quincunx over to Neptune. So it's going to be like, there's going to be, I call the quincunx the awkward stare from across the room. So the moon is going to be looking for peace and harmony within relationships. But then Neptune's going to be looking at it like, are you sure that they're on your spiritual path? Are you guys on the same journey? Is this person really, do you feel deep within your soul that this person or this situation or this job or whatever has you is really good for you? And the interesting thing is that we actually have the view from above for Wednesday, July 18th. So that's get the big picture. I like to think of it as we're watching the clouds on Monday and we fall asleep in this hammock. And in this dream, we are asking for a miracle. We're asking for the universe to show us a miracle. It's like, how can I make it to the next step? How can I change my life? How can I really move forward and really feel that inner peace on Tuesday? And then we have the view from above, which is going to be our angels and our guides coming to us and guiding us throughout this dream and showing us the view from above. And the cool, like I said, the moon's going to be in Libra, so we're not really going to be as focused on our personal story or our personality or our ego. We're going to be zapped out of that perspective, and we're going to get the bigger picture on Wednesday. We're going to have this greater view from above. It's going to give us more of an objective point of view, or as objective as we can anyways. So we're going to be hanging up in these hot air balloons, and it may even feel a little scary, but when we feel the wind against our face and we really just look down and see the vastness of where we can go, where we can explore, who we can meet, what we can create and manifest, we're going to get this great big vast picture. And then Thursday, the bombs begin to drop of transformation of this week. We have the moon, which will square Pluto retrograde. It will sext at 19 degrees. It will sextile Mercury at 21 degrees. And it will square the sun at 27 degrees. So we will have the first quarter square of the moon on Thursday. and it will ingress into Scorpio, where it's at fall position. So this is going to be really this moment where it's like, okay, with the sun in Cancer at 27 degrees, which is already pretty late. It's a late degree, and if you think about it, 2 plus 7 equals 9. 9 is a completion point. There's no other numbers past 9. Yes, you have 10, 11, 12, but when you really think about it, we don't have any numbers past 9. We just put two numbers next to each other to create a third number, right? So yes, you go 0, 1, 2, you go 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, 10, but there's a placeholder, remember? 10 is just a 1 and a 0 put next to each other. 10 is just a 1, which is one complete cycle, and then a 0 for the next placeholder. So there is something that's kind of coming to a culmination on Thursday. Some type of emotional culmination on Thursday. This first quarter square of the moon is really going to be us. How can we begin to, not allow our emotions to completely rule and run our lives? Yes, you want to follow your emotional guidance system, but at the same time, you don't want to be ruled by your emotions completely, because if you allow that to happen, you won't be able to foster this emotional intelligence to be able to move throughout life fluidly. Because what happens is that people, they try to hold on to this water, they try to corral it when water is meant to be flowing. Water is meant to flow. When the banks of a river are too full, it overflows. It doesn't try and keep the water inside of it, it floods. And I think that's what's happening, is that people are trying to hold on to this water, to this emotion. And I'm even going to go as far to say as money and currency, because if you look at money, and if you look at all the terms with money and currency, there's a lot of watery elements to it, because money is essentially water. And we have people in this world that are trying to hold on to so much of this currency that it creates this this dryness in other parts of the world. They sucked it all up, and now there are other people out there that are parched because they don't have enough water. And I'm just using that as as far as the whole money thing. Not that there's anything wrong with the accumulation of money. I'm just saying that there are people that have taken it too far to the detriment of other people. And today, on Thursday, you're going to be noticing that there's going to be this square is going to be a strained aspect, because you're going to want to have more peace and harmony, but you're also going to be examining your emotions and feeling more into your journey and feeling more into the moment. You're going to be asking yourself, how can I bring peace to this moment? How can I bring peace to this moment? Because you may not see eye to eye with people. They may not understand you emotionally, but are you going to take that out on them? Are you going to take that out of them, or are you going to take them as a part of yourself? Are you going to take that person as a part of yourself and realize that we are all in this together? Thursday, we are answering the call. It says the time is now. So it's like we wake up from the dream in the hammock, and then we realize that now is the time to change. Now is the time to evolve, to transform. Now is the time to act. On Friday, the moon, which is in fall position in Scorpio, is going to oppose the Uranus at 2 degrees. It's going to, Mars is going to also oppose the North Node and conjunct the South Node, so they come into Mars and the North Node come into their exact opposition, and Mars and the South Node come into their exact conjunction. The moon will square the nodes, and it will sextile Saturn retrograde. This is huge, because now that the moon's in Scorpio, we're going to be kind of where we were focused on people with Libra and harmonizing. Now we're going to be kind of zapped in, and now we're going to be trying to figure out, can we trust people? Can we trust ourselves? And this is going to bring us to a deeper place where by Friday, it's Wednesday, Thursday, we're wanting to create peace and wanting to harmonize our relationships. We're wanting to get along with people. Where come Friday, we're going to be zapped right back into our feels, zapped right back into our emotions on a deeper level, because the moon's going to be in Scorpio. So it's we're going to be diving, we're going to be sunken deep. And I don't want to say that as a bad thing, but it's almost going to be we're going to be put into the submarine and we're going to be diving into the depths of our feels, into the depths. And people are going to be like, oh no, am I going to catch feels? You probably are going to catch feels on Friday, and there's nothing wrong with catching feels, right? It's interesting because throughout the day, the moon also will conjunct Jupiter at 13 degrees. So we are opening up a doorway on Friday. With the moon being in Scorpio, we are really being called to trust our connection to Source, trust our connection to Spirit, and trust ourselves. Because, Scorpio, when the moon makes its conjunction to Jupiter, which is about expanding upon our deeper desires and wants and that which really turns us on, when the moon comes over this spot, it's going to be very sensitive because we're going to want to express what we've been hiding behind closed doors. Perhaps you want to make a YouTube channel where you dance and sing, but you've been afraid to do so. Or perhaps been wanting to ask out that person at work, but you're afraid to do so because your last relationship just didn't work out, and you wonder if you can trust people again. Perhaps you've been wanting a particular job and you've been wanting to go for it, but because they said that you have to have certain qualifications, you feel like you're automatically blocked from it. But if you take a chance anyways, they may give it to you regardless of whatever qualifications they posted on their job listing. So it's going to be a day where you really it's going to be a day of coming within and learning to trust yourself. And that's why the card is solitude. Solitude. In silence, peace prevails. So it's interesting how the solitude and the peace comes after the moon leaves Libra. Because the true peace, if you can find peace in Scorpio, in the darkness of the night, in the times where things are really when there's upheaval, when there's death and transformation, if you can find peace within the transformation, then that is where you find the gold. That is where you find the gold, and you find the richness that comes from the death and rebirth of a situation or a relationship or whatever you're going through. It's by coming into that solitude and recognizing that no matter what happens, you will always be connected, and that connection will never die. Right? On Saturday, we have the moon, which is going to trine Neptune, which is going to be a nice energy. It's going to sextile Pluto, but it's also going to square Mercury at 22 degrees. And the card I actually have is adventure, great adventure, which is take a risk and venture forward. So it's like we woke up in the hammock. So we went to sleep in the hammock from relaxing. We had this dream and we asked for a miracle. Our guides and our angels gave us this higher vantage point to look at our life and see how things are going. We wake up and realize that, oh crap, now I have to actually take action, not to jump into this, but am I ready? We take time the next day to be in solitude, to meditate, to write, to feel through things, to not just overreact to everything that, I don't even like the word overreact, to react to our outer circumstances in a way that doesn't foster emotional intelligence. And then on Saturday, we decide, you know what, I'm going to go for it. I'm going to go on that adventure. I'm going to ask that person out. I'm going to go for that job. I'm going to start that business. We're going to take a risk. And we're going to venture forward on Saturday. And then Sunday is the really big day, and I can't wait to show you here on here as well. But Sunday is the huge day because this is the day where the sun will ingress into Leo. And it's funny because the sun ingresses into Leo on the same night the moon ingresses into Sagittarius, which is going to bring about this spark, and we're actually going to have a grand fire trine, which is going to be kind of nice after all of this water energy. A lot of people are really going to like this, especially if you're a fire sign, and if you're an air sign, you are really going to enjoy this because you're going to feel the spark again. You're going to just feel like the light bulb's just going to go off. You're going to be like, oh, yes. That's what I've been needing to do. That's what I've been looking for. That's the vibration I've been looking for. That's what I've been seeking. It's going to be like you decide to get on your boat and you go out and you go on the new adventure and you're setting sail, and then you wake up on the boat the next morning and you find yourself in the middle of the sea and there are whales over here, there are dolphins over there, there are seagulls flying overhead, the sun is beautiful, and even though that night you might have even had a little bit of worries about how to move forward, because the night before we had to consider that the moon squared Mercury. So there might be some confusion, and you might even have this communication with your heart. Like, can I really do this? Can I really follow my heart? There may be some anxieties and fears that come up the day before, but then you wake up and you realize that, oh snap, I absolutely can do this. And the card we have is Mystic Healer, which is healing energy flows through you. The moon, before it even goes into Sagittarius, will trine the sun at 29 degrees. 29 degrees. Normally the moon would go void of course, which means that it makes its last major aspect to a planet, and then it doesn't make any more aspects before going into the next sign. But because the sun will be at 29 degrees of Cancer, the moon is going to actually trine the sun. The moon in Scorpio is actually going to trine the sun, which is almost going to be like this final test of water bending. Not really, because the North Node's coming into Cancer later, but the last test for a while on how to effectively water bend, and how to effectively guide our emotions, and to even follow our emotions and follow the flow so we may manifest the life that we really want. It's going to be a very healing day. It's going to be a very holy day, a very, very spiritual day. You're really going to feel it. And it's kind of funny because it's interesting because the sun, when it ingresses into Leo, and I'll probably should just go ahead and show you on here actually. The overall card that we had was Vast Vistas, which is expand your horizons. And that's exactly what this week is. This is a week of expanding your horizons. So let's go ahead and hop on over to the chart, and I can show you quickly, kind of like day by day, so you can see what's happening and stuff, okay? So as you can see, this is the chart for July 16th, 2018. I ran this at about 6:17, and even if we just go ahead and do that, okay, so you see, this is what we have here. The moon right here is at 17 degrees, and it's opposing Neptune, right? So today, like I said, it's going to be kind of a day where we're just kind of looking at the clouds, you know, just kind of watching them go by, and there may even be a bit of this energy and this kind of want to, you know, kind of escape from the day-to-day monotony, kind of want to escape from trying to figure out all the details. You know, when the moon was in the first part of Virgo, the first decan, it was really wanting to, it was like rushing to try and like polish things and clean things up. And now, especially after this opposition to Neptune, it's going to be more or less focused on the spiritual aspects of things, because, you know, we're going to definitely want to tidy up our life, so to speak, and want to, you know, move forward spiritually, and try, you know, I guess know the facts of life, but we're not going to have all the facts. So this is going to be, when this moon opposing Neptune is really kind of us relinquishing control to the universe. So if I move this forward, you see the moon will make its trine over to Pluto, which this is like, yes, you absolutely can manifest the life that you want, the day-to-day life that you want, but does it have a long-standing vision? So emotionally, we may feel like things are kind of changing in our day-to-day reality, and we're trying to learn how to be okay with it, right? So we move this forward, and before the moon goes into Libra, we can see that it's going to make the sextile over to the sun. This is July 17th, or around 6:41 a.m. So we're going to see the sextile, and then it'll be void of course after this. So it's like, yes, we really can create our day-to-day reality that's more in sync with the higher emotional space, but we do have to remember, you know, it's technically still trining over to Pluto. Does it have a long-standing vision? And this platform that we're trying to create, is it stable? Is it steady? Is it going to be destroyed by Pluto? Can we really move forward and create the life that we want if we just feel like our emotions are just here and there? And the funny thing is that your emotions do that. Every day you probably have some moments where you feel super happy and super sad for maybe no reason, or maybe there is a good reason for it, but it's whether or not you hyper react to these feelings and then you manifest and you act from them. Because you can feel sad and upset and still act in a way that is of emotional intelligence, to where it's kind of like one of those random memes that you've seen on the internet. It's like, you don't know patience or peace until a mosquito lands on your balls and you don't react. And that's kind of what this is. This is kind of like us learning to not overreact when something happens that might be a little uncomfortable, learning to kind of just go with the flow of things, right? So, as you can see, move this forward, and the moon is going to slip into Libra later on in the evening. This is Eastern Standard Time, and it's going to make that opposition, this is almost pretty much exact down to the solar minute, to Chiron, which is retrograde. So definitely be on the lookout in the evening on Tuesday, and maybe communications that you have with other people. They may be throwing their wounds around, and they don't really mean to. They're really looking at themselves in the mirror, and they may not like what they see. And I think that's, we all do that to some degree. And we can even see that, Chiron, look, it's squaring, even though it's not exact, it's squaring Saturn, and the moon is going to be squaring Saturn. So it's like, it's definitely going to be emotionally a bit of a strained time, because, the sun has... And then you have, like you said, the moon, which is looking for peace and harmony, wanting to establish these connections with people. But it's like, it's going to be a little tough. It's going to be a little strained. But if we don't really take things too personally, we will see that there's great healing that can be had here. This is the wounded healer. Remember that. So as we move the moon forward, it does come into that square with Saturn. And then really what I want to show you, honestly, I want to just go ahead and skip ahead. I want to skip ahead to Sunday, because that's honestly like a huge day. And then I'll draw cards for each of the signs, because Sunday is really just a huge day. So now look at this. We have the moon at 29 degrees, and it's trining over to the sun at 29 degrees of Cancer. And you can even say that even though it's loose, but the moon is, and it's not like, it's a fire sign that's involved, but it's even trining over to Chiron. So this is like, do we trust ourselves? Do we trust ourselves that we can actually connect to each other in a powerful way, in a spiritual way, in a healing way? And do we trust that we are all part of this big family? Because Cancer does rule family. Do we believe that we are all in this together? That we are a part of one family, one earth family, one soul family, one spirit family? Yes, there are some arguments. Yes, there's some confusion. Yes, we have war and famine. But do we believe that we can heal? Because Cancer is about healing too. Do we believe that we can heal? Do we trust ourselves to heal? I'm actually going to make a video about Jupiter and Scorpio, because I feel like that's actually unlocking, that's actually going to create more trust in each other. But it's interesting that we have this grand, it's not really a grand water trine because there's fire here, but it's almost kind of like a new island is being born. Because it's like Chiron, it's kind of like, the fire that's coming, the lava that's coming up from the water, and it's actually like a new island that's being born from this space of like this emotional edge, but it also can be a great breakthrough period, because look at this. The moon comes into Sagittarius, right? And then later on in the day, even though it's rather later on in the evening, bam! Look at that. The sun enters into Leo. We are officially in Leo season. This is about 5 p.m. And you are going to feel this shift. The reason why you're going to feel this shift is because we don't have any more Cancer energy, right? And this is that action energy. This is the energy that is kind of made apparent to us, whereas Pisces energy is a little bit more hidden, and Scorpio energy, even though Jupiter is here, it's hidden because Scorpio is taboo, right? So now the focus is going to be on our hearts, and the moon in Sagittarius is going to bring about hope. It's going to bring about a light. So it's like we're going to kind of go through the first part of the day wondering if we really, this journey that we're going on, the risk that we're taking and following our heart, is it going to be worth it? The moon in Sagittarius is going to be telling us it is absolutely worth it. And look at this grand fire trine. We have the sun at 0 degrees, we have Chiron at 2 degrees Aries, and we have the moon at 5 degrees of Sagittarius. So the moon is actually the highest position within this trine, which is asking us that, you know, we do have to follow our emotional guidance system and realize that we absolutely can move forward and be hopeful. And that sometimes what happens in life is that, you know, an arrow is only able to go forward when it's pulled back. You know, that's how arrows go forward the farthest. This is why Sagittarius, they travel the most. They go the farthest in life in many ways because they are willing to kind of pull back the arrow and then shoot forward. It's, yeah. It's interesting. And the moon is really going to be asking us to, you know, have faith, have hope, and even believe in our heart, believe in our abilities to create and manifest that life. And we have to look at this as well. Even actually, if you go back to when the moon was at 29 degrees of Scorpio, you can see that there's a sextile happening here between Venus, which is coming into its opposition with Neptune. It's within a 3-degree orb, but it's also sextiling over to Jupiter. So this is even saying that we actually can open up and receive that day-to-day reality that is in line with spirit, believe it or not, even though it's an opposition, that is in line with spirit, even though we're still having to work out things and we're still having to re-examine our connection. But the sextile to Jupiter is like, you absolutely can explore these deeper wants and these deeper passions, and you absolutely can integrate it into your day-to-day reality. Now, do you have the courage to do so? Or are you going to be fearful? Are you going to allow these false expectations appearing real to dictate what you're able to bring forth and manifest? The sun will be in a Leo. You're going to feel this shift, and it's going to be a spark. It's going to be an incredible spark because, like I said, emotionally we're going to be feeling the fire and feeling more hopeful and feeling like we actually can move things forward and that things are okay and we're going to want to celebrate. Sunday is going to be a holy day. It's going to be a holy day. Even though the sun is beginning to square Uranus, this is even about us revolutionizing our value. And the sun and Leo is like, okay, it's asking us ourselves, like, if we really do have this unconditional love for ourselves, we really will begin to examine our values and begin to revolutionize them in a way that, with this square, you can see that it has to Mars, that is actually better for the populace at large. But it's just, look where it's heading to. It's heading to the conjunction with the North Node. It's going to be our destiny. So definitely look out for July 22nd. It's going to be a very powerful day, a very holy and a very spiritual day. This will really be a week, one to remember, absolutely for sure. So that is the energies of the week, and I want to try and get these weeklies definitely under an hour, but if possible, I would like to try and get them under 30 minutes. As of right now, I'm running up on closer to 40 minutes, but that's okay. Considering the nature of the week and how I feel like this is going to be a week of great healing, I'm going to be drawing the color healing cards. Also, like I said, a great week of emotional depth and power, and realizing the power of our emotions. And what we really can do is, like water, it can be as gentle as a puddle, but as, torrential as the waves during a hurricane. And, we all have that within us. It's just whether or not we can learn how to temper those waves when they come, and even learn when to kind of rev up the ripples when it's just calm. You know, it's about having that balance. It's about learning the middle path and the middle way, right? All right, so Aries, the card that we have for you is Amber, which is awaken your creativity. You're definitely going to be feeling this come Sunday, because with all this water energy that's been going on, you really definitely need some fire, because, you know, Chiron has been in your sign, so you have been really looking at yourself in the mirror and be like, oh, golly, like, I just haven't really been feeling motivated. I don't really know if I can do this. Oh, this is crazy. But when the moon comes into Sagittarius later this week, and when the sun hits that spot, you're going to be, bam, you're going to be on it, you're going to be ready to go, and your creativity is definitely going to be awakened. Taurus, the card that we have for you is Rainbow. Wow. Connect to spirit and nature. Yeah, this is definitely going to be a week for you, Taurus, where you should just go be a tree hugger, hippie in nature. You know, just go outside and get some grounding. You'll probably will see a rainbow this week. It's going to be definitely a week where, you know, by connecting to spirit, you're really going to be connecting to your heart, and you're going to do so through nature. So definitely look out for that. You're going to find the pot of gold this week, Taurus. Gemini, the card that we actually have is rejuvenate your body. So this is asking you, Gemini, to do something, you know, to kind of get into your body. You know, maybe you've been feeling a little sluggish. Maybe you've been feeling like, and the good thing is that, you know, the moon will be moving into your opposite sign. And the sun, even though it's moving from your second house, which kind of rules the body, it's going to be moving into Leo. So you're going to be actually sending this communication to yourself to rejuvenate your body, that maybe you have been feeling really in your feels, really emotional, really kind of drenched, that by the time that we get this fire energy coming up at the end of the week, you're really going to be feeling more rejuvenated, and you're going to really actually start to want to get into your body a bit, actually. So the good thing is that you probably want to go ahead and do this in advance. So go for a run, go for a walk, exercise, do some jumping jacks, go jump on a trampoline. That'll be an awesome thing. Go swimming. But rejuvenating your body is going to really begin to bring forth, and the color is ruby, so it's like it even deals more with this fire energy. So Cancer, the card that we have for you is Turquoise, which is awaken your empathy. I think this is awesome because I feel like, Cancer, you may have shut off your empathy, and it's kind of weird when you shut off your empathy, Cancer, because you are the most empathetic sign next to Pisces. So it's like, not that Scorpio is not empathetic, it's just that Scorpio really likes to keep their energy kind of corralled and protected. But you might have shut off your empathy towards other people because you've been hurt in the past. But you're actually being asked to awaken your empathy, especially with the moon, which is going to trine over to Cancer at 29 degrees. This is really going to be a big test for you to be like, hey, Cancer, you are the natural waterbender, so when you awaken your empathy, you don't necessarily have to get hurt by other people. You may feel what other people are feeling and take them as a part of you, but you don't necessarily have to feel so hurt from that experience that you completely take on those wounds. There's a way of integrating this empathy for other people without it seriously hurting you and holding you back from your truth and your purpose. Leo, the card that we have for you is Apricot, rejoice and laugh, which is exactly what you're going to be doing by the end of this week. You have been feeling really not like yourself with all this water energy, even though Mercury's in your sign of North Node here. But when the sun comes home to Leo, it's coming home, boys. You're going to be rejoicing and laughing. You're going to be on the red carpet. You're going to be on the runway. You're going to be feeling like $1,000,000 by the end of the week. It's going to be time for you to rejoice and laugh for sure. Virgo, the card that we have for you is create a balanced life, which is kind of what you're wanting to do. The moon right now is in Virgo, and it will shift into Libra, so that's actually kind of what you're aiming for. And the funny thing is that you actually value balance because your second house is Libra. So this is going to be a week for you where, you know, you're going to be striving to create a balanced life, but it's going to come at you trusting in the universe, you trusting in spirit, because yes, you don't have all the details, and yes, you don't necessarily have an emotional footing on why things are happening the way that they are, but you're kind of being guided by your guides and by spirit this week, and just trust, do what you can, and you will create a balanced life this week. You'll begin to really feel more into how to create a balanced life in your day-to-day reality. Libra, the card that we have for you is revitalize your nervous system. We have green, revitalize your nervous system. Do some green therapy. If you happen to live in a very green place, go to the forest, go outside. If you don't, do some, like, maybe search like green therapy online, or green color therapy, or change like the background of like your phone or on your computer to like trees or something like that. Also, eat a lot of green leafy vegetables this week. It's really going to help you out. And I know that seems like a very practical application of this energy, but this is also about opening up your heart. So I think that's what this is. This is about you opening up your heart. And the interesting thing is that the sun will be coming into, your 11th house. So you really are learning how to trust other people again. But the way that you're going to trust other people is by trusting your own heart first. So this is going to be a week where you open up your heart more. Scorpio, the card that I have from you, I drew this card earlier actually, it's Auburn, ground yourself. Yeah, this is definitely going to be a week where you want to get some grounding. It's kind of interesting because there has been a lot of water energy, and when the sun shifts into Leo, it's going to be interesting energy. It's going to be your 10th house. So this is actually kind of about, your direction and where you're heading in life. But before you can climb that mountain, before you can go on that adventure, ground yourself. Ground yourself in the moment. Ground yourself in this feeling that things are going to work out. Like I said, the color is auburn, and this is like fall time if you look at the card. This is your time in many ways. So it's almost going to kind of feel like fall and summer for you. And you're going to kind of feel like this strange sense that like this is your time. And it is your time, but it's like it's going to be a week where it's by grounding yourself, by going outside, connecting to nature, meditating, doing something to ground yourself into your body. That's really going to allow you to ground this information, this knowledge that comes from the grand water, from the water trine, with the moon being at the edge of your sign and the sun being at the edge of Cancer before they both slip into fire signs. Ironically, kind of grounding yourself into the water. It's almost like you're kind of anchoring yourself like a barnacle to a rock in the ocean, and not being afraid to just kind of be hanging out in the ocean. Me too. Sagittarius, we have Burgundy, which is awaken your passion. Yeah, at the end of the week, you're gonna be like with Leo, just like sipping on some wine or having some fine chocolates. You're gonna be like, doesn't it feel good to have the fire back? Doesn't it feel good to have the fire back? That's what you're gonna be like, Sagittarius. I don't really need to say anything else. You can tell by my reaction. Capricorn, we have lighten up. Uh-oh, have you been too hard on yourself? Maybe you've been too hard on yourself. Maybe you've been putting too much of a load on yourself. And this makes sense. Saturn and Pluto are in your sign, and Mars is coming back to your sign. So these are the three big boys. These are the three bad boys. These are the three gangsters, the three amigos, the three amigops, that they don't always work together, but when they come together, they're like, okay, so you do this, and you do that, and I'll do this, and we'll make sure we get this under control. I don't know why I went into that accent. That was terrible. But lighten up on yourself, because all three of these energies are retrograde. So it's not as serious as you think it is. So lighten up, put on some chill music, relax, maybe get with the Leo and the Sagittarius and kind of party it up with them, because things are probably a lot better than you think. Than that you're projecting onto your current reality. So lighten up a bit. Things are all right. Aquarius, we have red, which is free yourself from pain, and that's kind of interesting. Mars is in your sign. The South Node is here, so there's definitely some pain that's being thrown around as far as the Aquarius energy, and the collective has been feeling some pain because we're trying to relate to each other, but it just doesn't seem like it's working. We're fighting with each other, and you're feeling this, and you're wanting to escape because this is your energy, and you're wanting to like, yo guys, we're all unique, amazing star beings. Can we just like get along? It's kind of interesting. You're gonna be kind of feeling like a Libra this week. So free yourself from that collective drama this week, and that's how you're going to really begin to feel into the transformation this week. So free yourself from the collective drama this week. Even though you are about the collective and you want to help people, kind of free yourself from the drama of it all. Fly above it, you know. Have a different vantage point. Don't be so zapped into that persona. It's really going to allow you to heal this week. And Pisces, the card that we have for you is Tangerine, which is be spontaneous and have fun. I really feel like Pisces, ironically, I feel like Pisces, Leo, and Sagittarius are really going to be partying it up. And I believe Pisces is going to be partying up with you guys too, because the sun is moving into your 5th house, Pisces, which rules the, which, wait, 6th house, excuse me, your 6th house. So it's like, you're going to be feeling, you're going to be feeling the fire in your day-to-day reality in many ways. So it's like, this be spontaneous and have fun. It's almost going to be like, actually what I see this as is that like, you're going to be like in your room, and a Leo and a Sag is going to hit you up and be like, hey yo Pisces, we're going to the club tonight. There's no fucking excuses. You're coming along with us. You're going to buy drinks for everyone. We'll buy drinks for you. And we're all just going to buy rounds of drinks for everyone and have a fucking balling time. Because you've been trapped in your room for such a long time, and now it's time for you to get out of your comfort zone a bit, Pisces. Go out and have fun. Be spontaneous. Get out there. I almost see this as like I say, Leo and Sagittarius are ready to have fun and go forth. And it's like, Pisces, you're like, I just want to stay in my room. And Capricorn's going to be like, oh, but I have so much work to do. Well, they're going to kind of like drag you guys out of your perception, and you'll be like, no, we're going to have fun, we're going to party, and we're going to just live it up, right? The overall card that I have for everyone is Indigo, which is about improving your vision. So I think really overall that's really what this is about. Because even if you look at these cards, you had the view from above, which is gaining a higher vantage point, and the overall card is expand your horizons. But the funny thing is that sometimes it's hard to expand our horizons when we're like in the trees, when we're like down here and we can't really see everything that's going around. We have to go up in like a hot air balloon, see that path in the woods, see that the mountains over here, and that the desert's over here, and that the ocean's over there, and whatever have you. Expand your horizons. You're going to improve your vision this week by expanding your horizons, expanding into your heart, expanding into a new space, feeling that you absolutely have the ability to create the life that you want. It does require courage. It does require confidence. It does require you to be convicted in your truth. That is it for your reading this week. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. And if you would like a personal reading with me, beloved, you can follow the link in the description below to theaquarianadepts.com. And always remember, my beautiful brothers and sisters, to keep moving forward, to stay focused, and Yahoo! Smile often.